your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Morning Drive. You see what happened to Jalen Tyson? Not that you probably really care.
I don't wish any ill will on him.
Okay.
Did he injure himself?
No. This is shenanigans with one of his teammates, Donovan Mitchell. Had his car filled with popcorn.
Okay.
Like the whole car filled with popcorn.
Was it his birthday or something?
No, I don't think it was just. I don't know if it was his birthday or what. It's just. He just did it. I guess
he works with a Clint Scott.
Just a prank. Yeah.
Was it dry popcorn or was it butter popcorn? Because that makes a little difference.
Oh yeah, that would make a difference.
I think it's dry.
If it's dry popcorn, it's funny. You open the doors, you dust it all out, the birds eat the popcorn.
Even then, I would be thrilled.
Yeah, just sell it, right, at that point in time. Yeah, you're an NBA player. Just
or open the
have
doors,
it towed
put
to the
popcorn
dealership.
and get it detailed and save $10,000.
Jalen Tyson is an NBA player.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
And you'll love this. The ESPN article says, as the former California standout shamefully approached his car with his head down.
I don't want him listed as a Texas Tech guy.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, once you gone, you gone.
You gone? Okay. in this particular case,
98% of them.
Yeah, 98% of them. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So,
are there any that you feel differently? I don't.
Oh, you mean talking about the guys that leave early or the guys that just...
No, not that leave early for the draft. That's a different deal.
Mm-hmm.
Guys that go play for somebody else. Davis Webb would be an exception.
Yeah.
Okay. Drew Woodcox would be an exception because he came back.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How about Alan Bowman?
No.
Okay.
No.
He went and played for Oklahoma State.
I know. Oh, well,
that's all you need to know.
If he had not gone to Oklahoma State, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not.
I understand there are circumstances that led some guys leaving.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, but some of these guys.
Some of them, like I think Jalen Tyson was one that was asked to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So not everybody is a Red Raider for life, then, right?
Not in my opinion, but that you're allowed to think differently.
No. There's a what is
there's also a difference between me not rooting for them and not wishing them any ill will, and also then I want every aspect of their life to be miserable when they leave.
Yeah.
There's layers to it on the negative side.
I don't waste a whole lot of time rooting hard against people that don't matter. So
yeah, okay.
That are gone playing for somebody else. If they're playing against us, I'll be rooting against them.
Yeah. 6:35 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Not that this is going to be a daily did and didn't segment of the program, but Oliver Miller, who played on that Final Four team and that national championship team for Arkansas, he died yesterday.
Oh, man.
Just 54. Yeah, 50. And I think he had been sick, but I'm not certain what his they didn't announce his cause of death. But yeah, he played on that 1990 team for Arkansas.
Very skilled big man who passed well.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of offense ran through him. I mean, he could score outside and with his back to the basket. I was a fan of his game.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great player for him.
Decent NBA player for a little while too.
Mm-hmm. First round pick, and like I said, seems to me I'd read that he had had some health issues, but did not make it. So we're not going to hopefully do this every morning. The very first radio station that I worked at, we had, and you wouldn't do this today because nobody would release this. We did admissions and obituaries on the air, admissions to the hospital, and obituaries on the air. The morning guy would read that.
Gosh, what a beatdown!
And we called
admissions to the hospital.
To the hospital. Right.
And aren't there laws against that?
Well, now, right now. And then some people, not everybody.
How boring.
No, I know. Well, and that was kind of the point that my buddy Catfish made to, the chairman. That's what we call the general manager. We called him the chairman, and he made it quite clear that there was nothing wrong with the sponsored program, because the funeral home right down the street from the radio station sponsored the admissions and dismissals and the obituaries. We called them dids and didn'ts unofficially. The ones that did make it and the ones that didn't make it. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was not good. Somebody says this. Remember, he was asked to leave by the same coach that asked Malik Wilson to leave as well, Mark Adams. Okay.
Wasn't Tyson? I thought Tyson was asked to leave by Coach McCasland.
That might be the case. I think you're right on that.
I remember we were kind of debating whether he was going to stay.
He was going to make the cut. Yes, I agree with you.
Was it him asking for more money, or I mean?
I agree with you. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right on that. All right, we get this from Mr. B, Jamie.
Okay.
He said, "Let's just get this win tonight and see what happens. I don't know why any Tech fan would want us to tank, because isn't winning the goal? Isn't the goal winning? Yes. If D5 is hurt, then next up. Simple as that. We aren't a top 10 team for no reason. Our squad is going to go out there and battle." Mr. B.
I mean, we won at Houston without JT Toppin.
And the head coach.
The whole game, right?
Right.
Darian's a great player, but if he's not good and healthy enough to play, then we move on.
Then he's not healthy enough to play. Right. Yeah. He's not.
And hope that we have him healthy enough to play next week.
Yeah. Simple as that. Simple as that. Hopefully he'll be able to play. Okay. 6:39 this morning here on the Morning Drive. If you have a score prediction for tonight, you can give us one. Hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line or the Visual Edge IT hotline. That number is 806-771-0973. Jeff will be glad to take down your score, and we'll see how you do tomorrow. Okay, we'll have the broadcast for you tonight at 5, play-by-play at 6. We'll also have the Big Ten tournament this morning starting at 10:45 on 100.7 The Score, and sandwiched in between all that will be Lubbock Cooper softball as they take on Caprock today at 4 on 100.7 The Score.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is March the 13th, 2025. With this day in sports history, here is Jeff McGuire.
1954, the Braves' Bobby Thompson breaks his ankle.
Ooh.
Yeah. They had to replace him with some guy named Hank Aaron. So
that worked out all right.
I mean, we'll have to see how that goes. I know he's got a little pop in his bat, but they're going to have to work with him a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
1982, men's figure skating championship in Copenhagen, won by Scott Hamilton. 1988, the 9th Big East men's basketball tournament took place. Jamie Lent was very happy camper. Syracuse beats Villanova 85-68.
What year?
1988.
88.
I miss the Big East.
It was a lot of fun back in the day.
I miss it. I mean, they had I think I was somewhere, and they had that 30 for 30 on the Big East and the audio wasn't up, but I mean, just seeing all those guys like, John Thompson and Patrick Ewing and Lou Carnesecca and, Jim Boeheim. And I mean, everyone had a rivalry. I mean, they all hated each other, and it was great.
2022. Number 9, Texas Tech clinched its series against number 3, Oklahoma State, with a 9-3 win. In the 5th inning, Owen Washburn provided the grand slam that helped tally 7-run inning for the Red Raiders. The night before, Cole Stillwell launched a grand slam that was part of a 5-run 4th. Friday slam flipped the lead. Saturday's broke a 1-1 tie. What both did was put Texas Tech in front for good in the visitors' ballpark.
Good days.
We're going to get back to those?
That's the plan.
We're going to get back to those.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Also on this day in 2022, after a 40-day retirement, record-breaking quarterback Tom Brady announces he will play at least one more season in the NFL with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oddly enough, we were talking about a prank earlier.
Yes.
Well, it's fitting because today is National Popcorn Lovers Day.
Oh, maybe that was the
funny.
reason.
I don't think that was the reason, but I appreciate the prank. Happy birthday to William H. Macy is 75. Trent Dilfer, 53. Will Clark, 61. And Johan Santana is 46. And on this day in 1836, less than a week after the disastrous defeat of the Texans rebels at the Alamo, the newly commissioned Texas General Sam Houston begins a series of strategic retreats to buy time to train his ill-prepared army. Houston's decision of retreat won him little but scorn from the Texas rebels. His troops and officers were eager to engage the Mexicans, and they had shafted at Houston's insistence on learning proper field maneuvers. Houston wisely continued to organize, train, and equip his troops so he'd be prepared to meet Santa Anna's army. Finally, after nearly a month of falling back, Houston ordered his men to turn around and head south to meet Santa Anna's forces. But that is a story for another day.
Oh, okay.
On this day in sports history.
All right. Staying sports history, 6:48 this morning here on the Morning Drive. I feel like there's sometimes I go back and look at, because I get a this day in history calendar thing that comes to my email, and I look at them sometimes and I think, oh, that was skipped intentionally because I've told that story, which is fine. No? Jeff's shaking his head. No conspiracy there?
No.
Okay.
I try to find stuff, little tidbits throughout the day. And, like throughout the years, I should say. Try not to get a bunch of stuff really old or a bunch of stuff really new.
Okay. Nothing. No.
No, if anything else, it's the other way around. If you've got a great story to tell, I'm going to put it in there just to hear the great story.
Again.
Even if we just heard it like a week before.
Sorry. I do suffer from that disease from time to time.
So does everybody. This is not just you.
Yeah. William H. Have you seen the movie Fargo?
I have not.
Okay. Jeff, Fargo?
I haven't, but I know what you're talking about.
Wow, okay. I'm not surprised that Jamie hasn't. And I'm not a big movie guy, so I'm not like, oh, going to be outraged. It's just such a bizarre movie. Sometimes it's one of those movies. It's deep, but it's silly, but it's stupid, but it's good, but and it's one of those ones where you can kind of pick up, there's movies that if you just kind of happen to come across them, I can pick that up. If you've
the
seen
second time,
you
can pick it.
Yeah.
Not the first time.
Not the first time.
No. You got to log in on Fargo the first time.
Right. Absolutely.
Which is why I haven't watched. Like, I've seen enough of it to know this is not my type of movie.
Yeah.
But it is definitely not one that you can just passively turn on.
No. It's a little bizarre.
Usual Suspects has left turns in it.
Yeah. Somebody says this, as a history nerd and a sports junkie. Thank you, Jeff. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I've told you about this movie, September 5, about the 72 Olympics and the hostage taking of the Israelis there at the 72 Olympic Games that resulted in deaths, and it was not a good ending. I started to watch this on a plane home from Kansas City last week. I didn't get through it. I got about 30 minutes in. I will tell you this: if you're old enough to remember the 72 Olympics and remember those games and kind of how times were then, you'll enjoy this movie. If you don't, you're going to be like, oh, that's really bizarre that they did it like that, and that's really bizarre that they did it like that. But anyway, it's if you're 60 plus and you remember those dark days of the 72 Olympics when the hostages were taken, and you see the guy with the red mask. I mean, if you remember those days, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, you'll enjoy it, I think, if you remember those games. 6:52 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Somebody says this: Fargo was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Okay. It's not for everybody's.
You liked it though?
It was okay. Yeah. It's a little bizarre. It's disturbing.
Disturbing.
Yes, it's like. I just never was a big fan, and this is probably blasphemy.
That's actually how people describe the morning drive.
Disturbing.
It's a little bizarre. It's disturbing.
It's somewhat addictive, though, at times. Like the show Office, I just never. That show bothers me. There's just
not the same style.
Yeah,
Fargo and Office, not the same style.
I know, but that show bothers me. I just can't. I can't get into it.
I just
bothers you?
Yeah, it's just. I find it disturbing. Very, very disturbing.
Different type of disturbing.
Dude.
Huh?
Turn the channel.
Oh, I know. We don't watch it.
Don't be disturbed. Turn the channel.
We don't watch it. I just was bringing it up. Yeah, no.
How's it disturbing you if you don't watch it?
Well, I've seen it a couple of different times and just go, no, that's just.
Okay, let me get a 30 real quick. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you are a fan of The Office and have not seen Fargo, do not expect the same style of show.
No. I'm not trying to compare the two.
No. But you use the same description for both of them.
Okay.
And while I would agree, both of them have disturbing moments for sure. They are not the same type of show.
No.
Okay.
That's from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Speaking of Mark Adams, what would have happened if he had gotten on the plane? Boy, that's a great question. But he wasn't going to turn down an opportunity to coach his alma mater, but he didn't. There was no guarantee at that point in time that he was going to have that chance.
So the question is, who would have been our head coach at that point?
Yeah,
and I would guess likely it wouldn't have been Grant McCasland at that point.
No. And would you have had the same success that you're having today? That's the other question. Maybe not.
Well, NIL kind of puts all of that in.
Yeah, I think the commitment to basketball since the beginning of
before Adams.
Yeah,
there was commitment to basketball.
Absolutely.
So, I think we'd be okay. I don't know who our head coach would be.
Yeah, I can't sit here and tell you that we'd be the number 9 team in the country and 2 seed going to the NCAA tournament. Who knows? We may have been that sooner.
Yeah, I was not a bet against it either.
Yeah, so. No. I mean, it might have stunted you a little bit too. Kept you from having success, which makes this success even more impressive, actually, when you think about the train wreck that was.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
The Green Flames.
The Ninja Turtles. See,
read the chat line.
Yeah.
Sometimes they help with the jokes.
Green Fire. Any reports of muted turtles down in those tunnels? Is that the one you want me to read?
There's like 4 of them, but yes, that was the one I'm talking about.
Unsubstantiated rumors, a horse name. Does that qualify? Explosion and green flames. Are we experiencing a Ghostbusters type event?
It looked like it.
Yeah. A new home will also welcome the Red Raider men's basketball team to come out and work out, too.
Okay, good.
According to the Yates Flooring Center chat line.
They got a nice gym.
Yeah. Let's see here. We said that. Chuck, this is real life stuff, not the sports department. Okay, I got it. I understand. Man, tap the brakes, dude. Chuck, a 1-point win is fine. We don't have to pulverize every team into hallucinating.
No, but we could.
It would be fun if we
we're
did.
allowed, right?
I think I'm showing to be honest with you, because I don't really view the scrub comment. I wasn't trying to be disparaging. I think I'm just showing my age, because that's really what we all called ourselves, was scrubs.
I think you're more than welcome to refer to Baylor's bench players as scrubs.
Okay. Somebody says they're reserves, not scrubs. Okay. Scrubs is what you wear to work in a hospital. Okay. Well, I've never worked in a hospital.
I think scrubs is very much a derogatory term towards a bench player.
Okay, I wasn't trying to be derogatory, but I think that's just my age. I mean, there's some things
you are trying to dig yourself out of this hole so badly.
No, I'm not.
Instead of saying my bad, I said the wrong thing.
Well, I mean, I can say my bad, I said the wrong thing, but I mean, it really wasn't. It's just like that's just kind of how we always refer.
Never
to.
In the history of ever, when you called somebody a scrub because they were at the end of the bench, was it meant as a kind term. Never in the history of ever. I don't care how old you are.
Okay, all right. I mean, I wasn't trying to be disparaging. All right. I'm sorry. I apologize to all the folks that, like me, that sat at the end of the bench. 118-29. Toppin will go for 68 and 30. Hacks and Level will polish off a six-pack during the second half.
Okay.
68 and 30.
There is a bar nearby. But
I've repeatedly said you can't drink all day if you don't start early. But whoo.
All right. Coach Grant McCasland the other day was asked, and he takes a minute and 30 seconds to respond to this. He was asked one word to describe JT Toppin. Here's the head coach.
What comes to my mind is electric, and I just mean that in regards to he's got a different nose and energy when he plays. Like, he loves playing basketball. And I didn't know his competitive level when we recruited him, because he's like, my first conversation with JT, he was sitting on a bed, and I FaceTimed him, and it came up, and he's like, he's kind of leaned back, and he's at the combine. He's like, "What's up, coach?" And I was like, it's not what I didn't know what I was going to get. So he's a laid back guy when you talk to him. He's awesome. Like, he's such a good person, and I love being around him. But when he plays basketball, he plays with an edge and intensity, and he loves to compete, and he can really impact the game in so many ways. But I tried to explain it to people after I'd been around him a few times. JT is different than I can explain anybody I've ever coached. And it is got a different energy to it when he goes and grabs the ball, and when he shoots a hook, and when he wants to go block a shot. It's different, you know. But the competitiveness is what I think separates him. And it's one thing to have that skill and that talent. It's another thing to want to go beat somebody that bad. And that's what I'll give JT the credit for. So it's not just athletics. So that's one way to describe it. But I just think his energy is electric in regard to how he competes, and it's fun to watch him.
Electric.
I think it's a good one.
I do too.
Yeah. I would have the word he just used there at the end again, energy, was one that I would have thought would have been a good one as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and you know, you think about what he's done for this basketball team. I mean, he's exceeded expectations. Don't you think?
You're paying him a lot of money, man.
No, I know, but I mean, I know, but he won player.
He's probably better than I thought. Yes.
I mean, he won Player of the Year. I mean, would you have said at the start of the year? You might have said Newcomer of the Year because he was a newcomer, but I don't know that you would have said Player of the Year.
Probably not. That's fair.
So that's why I say he probably has exceeded his expectation. All right, one more thing from Coach McCasland, and this is with regard to Kerwin Walton, because while statistically he doesn't necessarily have the numbers, but Coach was asked about how he has improved on both ends of the floor.
Kerwin's improved because of his consistency. I mean, he was in here yesterday 3 times, and no one asked him to. He's a worker, and guys that work get better. And so if there's anything that's a credit to that, it's his willingness to be coached and listen to us and genuinely try to do everything we're asking him to do. And it may not be his strengths, but he's given everything he can. And 2, he works, throughout the entire year. So if he doesn't play, he's in the gym. And if he does play and he's the best player, he's in the gym. He's as consistent as anyone I've ever been around in my life.
What's your thought on that?
I think the consistent is something that I think you always appreciate. Mm-hmm. No matter when times are good or times are bad for him scoring-wise, he's... the attitude stays the same and the work never changes. That's exactly what you want.
But there have been times when we've talked about wanting more or maybe needing more, but maybe this is his role, what he's settled into.
Yeah, no, we definitely have at times wanted him to, and feeling like he should have been better, should have been,
wanting him to get started in a game, those types of things.
Yeah,
right?
just because you knew how important it was to have another shooter out there and what he could do, but I don't think it was because of effort. Yeah,
no. But sometimes you have a player that just doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but yet what he does.
Yeah, I think he's better defensively. I've said that a lot than people give him credit for. Not that people think that he's a problem child on defense or anything like that, but I think he's a really solid defender. Seems to be a guy that's in the right place when he's supposed to be. And obviously he's also playing in a role where usually the first person off the bench is your superstar freshman that usually comes in to take his spot.
How would you respond to this? I know when he's rolling, we are hard to beat.
Yeah, just because he gives you one more threat out there.
Yeah, no question. 7:23 this morning here on the Morning Drive. We'll have Tech and Baylor tonight in the quarterfinals of the Big 12 championships, with the winner advancing on to play the winner of Arizona and Kansas. Anything concern you about Baylor?
I mean, they're not void of talent. So, I mean, if you have a bad day or if they have a good day shooting the ball, I mean, they're good enough to beat you. So, I mean, I don't have a specific position or something that they do exceptionally well.
Because there have been times when they've had that, right? There have been times when
they've had dominant guards, yeah.
Yeah,
sure and super athletic wings,
and maybe some height as well too. And you just don't. I don't know. You just don't. They didn't turn out to be the team that you thought they were going to be.
Absolutely not. I would guess that it would be a battle for them in Kansas with the most disappointing team in the conference this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would say that it would be a hands-down winner for most biggest surprise in a positive way is us.
Yeah.
Not that, I mean, people thought we were going to be 10th, but to be second.
To be second, right?
Yeah.
And to be a team that's talked about amongst those that could have a deep run in the NCAA tournament, potentially a Final Four team, all those things, yep.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay, so I think this one's not an easy one. Lot to factor in here.
Oh, man.
Which coach, Joey McGuire or Grant McCasland, ranks higher in the Big 12 coaching pecking order? So obviously you're judging McGuire against the other football coaches and McCasland against the other basketball coaches.
Grant with basketball. Not even a hesitation.
That was my first thought.
I mean,
the only thing that holds me back is that this is year 2, but I mean he's
tied for third, second.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
This is. I think Joey McGuire is liked amongst his Big 12 brethren. I don't think it's a hostile work environment with most of them. But when it comes to what Grant McCasland has done here in his 2 years, tied for third and second in the Big 12, yeah, Grant McCasland.
I agree. I'm not sure it's even close, just because of the what he's done on the field. I would tell you. Probably the entire city of Lubbock has met Joey McGuire. All 250,000 plus have met Joey McGuire. Shook his hand, got a picture taken with him. And
I don't have a picture taken with him.
Well, that's on you.
But everybody's done it, but if you haven't, it's on you. Okay.
I'm sorry. I've been around to take your picture with him. Sorry. I'll do that next time. Anyway, my point is that I mean that's not McCasland's style, and he's different. That doesn't mean he's better. Doesn't mean he's worse. But all that group does is go out and coach and put wins on the board.
Okay, so so this is hard for me because you're asking me to. I don't think it's as easy as you guys think it is. I don't think it's as much of a layup. Okay. And the reason being is I think Big 12 basketball has some really, really good coaches. Okay? When you're talking about Drew and Sampson and Bill Self, I mean, Grant McCasland hasn't won a postseason game for Texas Tech.
Okay, I thought we were comparing just McCasland and McGuire.
Grant hasn't won a
where
postseason
they
game yet.
rank in their Big 12 coaches.
Oh.
Or not.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. I mean, I didn't.
You really don't listen well.
I need to be better. I need to be better.
Where they rank. So
would you like to change your answer?
I think I still lean towards McCasland, but I think there's I think the Big 12 basketball conference has better coaches than Big 12 football conference.
I think I would agree with you on that.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And so it's hard for me, while I think Coach McCasland's clearly doing an awesome job for us, at this point, he's had great regular seasons, right? And we expect in like 3 weeks from now, we're talking about a great postseason, right?
Right.
Okay? But I'd have a hard time putting him right now in front of Self or Sampson or Drew or Otzelberger. I mean, those are really good coaches.
What about and even the Arizona coach?
Fair enough.
If you
but I feel like I have Coach McCasland at around 5, and I feel like I have Coach McGuire at around 6 or 7.
Part of the reason why I think it's easier for me is, well, if you were going without ties, McCasland's probably 5 in the Big 12. But I also think that I would put, there's a couple of ties in there, so it's 1 and 1, and then 3-3-3 kind of concept. It's not the results that he has put on the field in Big 12 play demand respect for McCasland. You can't be picked 5th and go 2nd. You can't be picked 7th and end up being tied for 3rd. That's without being taken notice of. And while you've gotten better in football, you haven't had that kind of jump in football yet.
Somebody off the chat line says McCasland has already accomplished far more without all the blah, blah, blah noise. He hasn't won a postseason game yet. How can you say that with him over McGuire?
All right, so let me just ask you.
Again, my answer is McCasland.
Would you take McGuire over the Arizona State coach, Kenny Dillingham?
I mean, a young coach that did what he just did?
Yeah.
I would say he's accomplished more at this point.
Okay. What about Deion Sanders?
I don't want
you don't want Deion
to do with that, but
you'd take McGuire.
But I do have respect for his ability to coach. I just don't want his drama here.
Okay, you'd take McGuire over Scott Satterfield at Cincinnati.
Yes, absolutely.
Would you take him over the Arizona coach?
Yes.
Brett. Okay. You take him over Dave Aranda.
Those two are a toss-up to me.
Okay.
I mean, Dave Aranda has his number, does he not?
Yeah. Kalani Saitek at BYU.
Man, that was a guy who was about to lose his job last year, and then he was awesome last year.
O'Neal Brown lost his job, but you take McGuire over Rich Sataki. Okay.
Yeah.
You take McGuire over Rich Rodriguez.
Yes.
Okay. You take him over. Gus Malzahn's not there anymore. It's the former Nebraska
quarterback.
Yeah.
Scott Frost.
Scott Frost. Yeah. You take him over him. He failed at Nebraska. He had great success at UCF.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, he had one great season.
But he didn't. His level of competition.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think I'd still stick with McGuire.
Would take McGuire over Sonny Dykes?
Yes. Even though he's accomplished more, I would.
How about Matt Campbell? You got to put Matt Campbell ahead.
I have to put Matt Campbell.
I do too. Willie Fritz at Houston still.
I'm taking McGuire there.
Chris Kleiman.
I'm taking Kleiman.
Yeah, because just what he's done, right?
Yeah.
What about Mike Gundy? What he's done? I mean, he's got
to take Gundy. Yeah, because
big skins on the wall.
Part of this is those guys have coached longer.
Absolutely,
had more of an opportunity.
I would not take Lance Leipold over McGuire. I think jury's still out there
for both.
For both. Yep, I think that's fair. And then what about Kyle Whittingham at Utah? He's accomplished an awful lot. He's been there a long time.
Yeah.
He's been there a long time. Then when you, but I think you make a great point when you look at the basketball, just because of, man, it's a hotbed of coaches right now. With guys that have had, big time success. When you look at Sampson and Self and Drew and others, and they've had big time success. But he's proven that he can coach with them. He just needs to be around long like they have. And in the case of Self and Sampson and Drew get to a Final Four. You know?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good question. I'll try to listen better. There's always room for improvement, right?
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Chois Woodman, who's in for Jamie Lent, who's off to baseball, and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. It is great to have you with us as we come to you from the First United Bank studio this morning. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app for that. The mobile app is presented by Happy State Bank. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. Good morning.
What's up, Chuck?
Okay. When I listen to your fine radio program on the End of the Bench, yours, or the Bottom Line, more often than not the Bottom Line, you always have some kind of listening location where folks are tuned in. Do you have a listening location where folks potentially could be tuned in this morning?
Sure. They could be out in Mistaken Point, Canada.
Mistaken Point, Canada. Okay. So if you're in Mistaken Point, Canada this morning and you want to you weigh in, you certainly can. And thank you for listening on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Of course. Yeah, we had. I know you had a texter in from Cincinnati as well as us yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he went to a sports bar. I believe it was Aaron. He went to a sports bar for lunch.
Okay. In
Cincinnati, and of 14 televisions on, they had one on the Cincinnati basketball game, and he was the only one interested in watching that game.
Well, unfortunately for them, it's a pro sports town, and it's probably high on people's list in terms of Cincinnati Bearcat basketball, especially kind of where they are.
Well, you got me, one of the scrubs, in for Jamie today. So
really didn't think that was that.
I had to
much of a. It wasn't meant as a shot, but apparently it's taken as one, so that's all right.
I get it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Let's see if there's anything. Chalupa says this. Whoop, whoop. How about them Cowboys? Super Bowl, baby. This is our year. They have yet to make a significant free agent signing.
In like 3 years.
Yeah.
We're going on quite a while. As a matter of fact, the Cowboys never... I was trying to think back the other day of big splash free agency signings that the Cowboys have made that have had a significant impact on the team, and there haven't been really any. Jerry loves some Jerry, and part of that is he loves to draft guys and re-sign guys even if they're not worth re-signing.
And then make an occasional trade too.
Very occasional. We've seen more splashes in the last 30 years from the Cowboys in trades than we have free agency signings.
All right, so that doesn't bode well. All right, so we'll have basketball on the air for you today on 100.7 The Score. It all gets underway at 10:45 this morning. Up first is Indiana and number 23 Oregon. Indiana, do they have work left to do to make the NCAA field?
I think so. Work left to do, I don't know. It matters around them. I think they're one of those true bubble teams.
Sure. They win today, though. They're in, right?
Maybe.
Really? Okay.
I don't know. I don't think they're a shoe-in, are they?
Well, I think it's. I mean, if they're considered a bubble team, I mean, winning a second-round game over a ranked team would really help you. But then,
probably
who this is my buzzword for today. Who are the bid stealers out there that are lurking out there over the next few days?
There are bid stealers.
Yeah.
It happens.
They would not be. Somebody else would be a bid stealer for them that would win in one of these other conference championship games. Also today, and we'll have this game for you as well, Northwestern and Wisconsin. Wisconsin is 23-8 on the season. Okay. Tonight we'll have this. We will not have this game because we'll have Cooper softball for you against Caprock at 4. But he may be on the verge of coaching his last game at Illinois because there are rumors that Brad Underwood's going to go to Texas to take over for Rodney Terry, who's still coaching, by the way.
Right now,
they take on Iowa. You'd be shocked if Rodney Terry was back, right?
I think so. I think writing's on the wall. It almost feels like Texas was forced into that hiring a couple of years ago.
Sure they were.
Just because he did so well. Like, if he would have taken Chris Beard's team and, been 500 or something. Out. But they did really well on the other side of the Chris Beard firing. And
that's because he had a really good team.
He did have a really good team. He didn't wreck it into the ditch. And it almost forced Texas's hand.
I think it did force Texas. What were they going to do?
I don't know. I don't know if it would have been a bad look if they moved on from him or what. But
sure would have.
But yeah. So I think Terry's got his days are done at UT.
And Mike Woodson, his next loss, if it's tonight, I think he's in. I think he's in the NCAA. I would bet that Indiana, if they didn't get into the NCAA, would not take an NIT bid. Who knows? Maybe they would.
I don't know. You never know. North Carolina did a few years ago and won it. I don't think Indiana's above it. Now, maybe with a coaching change, maybe that's what makes it where they don't take it.
So. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay, yeah.
That's kind of what's because they're going to have a coaching change because Woodson has said he's done.
Yeah, he's done.
He's done. Right. So, and then USC at 16-16 takes on Purdue 21-10. I don't like Purdue. I don't like their coach. I think he's
Painter.
Yeah. They're for the most part underachievers.
I mean, if you're judging purely off the tournament, then yes.
That's how I judge it.
Well, then how do you judge McCasland so high?
Well, this is year 2.
Yeah.
This is year 2.
But he hasn't won a game yet in postseason just yet.
Yeah, this is.
Now, I'm hoping we see a long run this year, and I expect one.
But Matt Painter, one thing you can guarantee, whether it was Gene Cady or Matt Painter, you know what? If you're a Purdue fan, you're going to be disappointed.
Okay. I mean, they made a Final Four
once
last year.
Yeah, with that big fella.
I don't feel like I can say that Painter's a underachiever.
Oh yes,
after they're coming off of a Final Four the year after. So.
Well, I just think they've been underachievers.
Okay,
so 8:10 this morning we get Choice's take on Texas Tech and Baylor tonight. We'll have it for you at 5. The tip at 6 here on Double T 97.3. We'll get to some baseball. We got tomorrow as well for baseball too, but we have Tech and Houston first of 3 tomorrow. That'll be at 6 o'clock tomorrow with the first pitch at 6:30. And then we'll have baseball for you on Saturday and Sunday as well here on Double T 97.3. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.